Do you know what you need to do to change your drinking? I do, and I've got 4 powerful truths that you need to understand in order to make that happen. My name is Gregory Lee, and I have been where you are. I was drinking too much beer, had been doing so for a long time, and I had settled into mediocrity in every aspect of my life. I was living far below my potential, and I had lost the spark that used to drive me. My drinking was a big part of this crappy situation, but I couldn't imagine a life that wasn't centered around alcohol. If your situation is anything like mine was, you're bored with your friends, dissatisfied with your marriage, and tired of your career. You've lost a sense of purpose in your life, and you are ashamed that you can't control yourself with alcohol the way you want to. Now, most people that get in this cycle stay stuck there unless something comes along to jolt them out of it. So maybe you're watching this video and serious about wanting to change your drinking because you've gotten your jolt already. If so, welcome. I'm glad you're here. And if you managed to come here on your journey without an external kick in the ass, congratulations. It's far better to take care of things before they really go south. And if you wait, you risk an even worse fate, that nothing ever does come along to wake you up to take control of your life. Well, I got my kick and I quit settling. I changed my drinking. I eventually changed my career, my relationships, and many other things in my life. Now, these external changes are nice, they're important, but they're far less important than the internal transformation that changes life from mundane and limited to expansive and full of possibility. And if you take this opportunity to change your drinking, that same sense of possibility is available to you. The first truth I need to share with you is to tell you that your problem is absolutely solvable. You aren't uniquely broken or defective, and the methods I use, which have helped thousands of other people, will also work for you. When you took your first drink, your brain said, aha, this is important stuff. And our brains interpret alcohol as being important to our survival, just like food and sex. And this means that we easily develop a habit around such needs, which lets us become experts at getting more and more of these survival rations with the least possible effort. So you've developed a habit at the same time as you're living in a culture that glorifies alcohol. And of course, you've personally experienced lots of good times and pleasure from it. So these influences and these personal experiences, they are the raw material for the compelling stories that you tell yourself, maybe unconsciously, about how valuable and even necessary alcohol is in your life. It's the combination of the habit and these stories that gives alcohol its apparent power over you. The good news is that when you have the right tools, it's not that hard to reprogram your brain so that you can take your power back. Here's the second truth. You can't shame your way to success. Until now, your main strategy for changing your drinking is to beat yourself up in hopes that eventually you'll get so disgusted with yourself that you won't have any choice but to change. The fact is, it's impossible to create a long-term positive result from a foundation of shame and guilt. Negative emotions fuel negative actions. The good news is that you don't have to first do anything about your drinking in order to stop creating this shame. You just have to change how you're willing to think about yourself. So when you learn how to create compassion and curiosity for yourself instead of shame and guilt, you will be on your way towards being able to change your relationship with alcohol. The third truth is that you've got to change the way you handle your emotions. Now, you may be great at managing your behavior, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about your external affect. I'm talking about your internal experience of stress and anxiety, disappointment, shame, judgment. I'm willing to bet that you've never learned how to experience this negative emotion in a safe way. So you resist it, you hide from it, and you try to distract yourself from it. This has you living in a chronically negative emotional state where the soothing effects of a drink become really attractive. This chronic emotional state has another more subtle effect, and it's that you have almost no bandwidth left over for risk or challenge. So however uncomfortable your status quo is, The idea of taking on some new unknown discomfort in pursuit of a better life leaves you a little freaked out, so you stay stuck. So the solution to this has two parts. First, you learn how to lean into your emotional experience without resistance so that you fully process your emotions instead of letting them accumulate. You'll learn when you do this that they have much less power than you've given them, and they don't need to be avoided. And secondly, you can learn how to actually get rid of big chunks of negative emotion and experience in your life simply by changing how you think. Now, when you master these two superpowers, changing your drinking will be just the first of many cool things that you can achieve. The fourth and final truth is that failure is not the disaster you imagine it to be. In fact, it's the foundation for success in anything that's worth doing. But everyone I talk to about changing their drinking is afraid of failure. As one guy told me, "I'm scared shitless of it," is what he said. The thing is, there's nothing about failing that's inherently harmful or hurtful. It's only this view of it that most of us have that makes it so scary. And this fear of failure, it's something that's programmed into us from an early age. Think back to what happens in school. Instead of it being a place to explore and experiment, both of which involve failure, school teaches us to follow rules and do things right. Now, of course, this sets us up to be good, compliant employees, so we take our school success and we go into the work world where we're reinforced with the need to follow directions and keep doing things right. So the result of this programming is that when you try things or think about trying something where success isn't guaranteed, you make this mean that you as a human are a failure. So it's this identity of being a failure that's so miserable and scary. But what if you just decided that you as a person could never be a failure? That your identity had nothing to do with the success of individual attempts? What if you decided that being willing to do hard things and fail at them meant you were a badass? If you make a conscious choice to view commitment and failure in this way, you'll have the freedom to achieve transformation in anything in your life that you want. But until then, you'll probably stay stuck. So what do you think about what I've had to say here? Does it make sense, or does it make you mad? Are you interested in knowing more about how to put these powerful truths into practice? I've got a free opportunity for you that you really don't want to miss. If you want to swap out your flat, unfulfilling, regret-filled life for one where you feel good and in control, then the best thing you can do is to schedule a free consultation with me. This call would be the most valuable thing you could do for yourself right now, and here's why. In it, we look at the guts of your situation, and I'm going to explain your problems to you in a way that no one has before, in a way that gives you the knowledge you need to work towards solving them for good. To make this even more useful, on the call, I'll explain how my coaching process can be the method that would take you from where you're at to where you want to be. This call is really valuable, and it takes just an hour. There's no obligation, and you'll walk away from it feeling empowered and positive about the possibility of changing your relationship with alcohol. Waiting around isn't going to make things easier, and there is no good reason to let yourself stay stuck in the cycle that you're in. So click the button below to schedule your free consultation. I'm ready to talk with you.